As if that wasn't enough, it's time for Image in the 90s. And today we're talking about Youngblood issue number 4. And I'm going to tell you something. Youngblood really starts strengthening itself up as it goes issue to issue. So we've read issue 1, we've read issue 2, we read issue 3. 1 wasn't very good. 2 was really good. 3 took a little bit of a step down, but 4, one of the best issues yet, finally delivering on the promise of what is up with this team? Who are these people? What is going on? Let's dive into this book. First and foremost, I want to say that this book, of course, is written and illustrated by Rob Liefeld, but Danny Miki is joining him as an inker. So issue number 3 was released towards the fall of 1992, and it was plagued with lateness. Those first 3 issues came out over 6 or 7 months, and then they were like, promise, we're going to wrap up the first Youngblood miniseries with issue number 4. We're going to do that in a couple of months. That's what it says on issue number 3 of Youngblood. This one came out in fucking 1993, in January, February. So this book was significantly late and almost a year after publication of the first one. So lateness aside, let's get into the book. In the last issue, we saw the home team, the Youngblood A team, doing kind of their own mission. We were getting into them. They were dealing with the jailbreak from the 4. The 4 had the jailbreak in issue number 1, but we never saw the conclusion of that. It was just kind of told to us in issue number 3. But in issue number 3, at the very end, Die Hard shows up and tells Youngblood, yo, the Youngblood task force, the away team, the B team, they went there. They're dealing with this shit with Prophet and the Disciples and the Berserkers, and they need our help. So we kick off, and Youngblood, Team A, led by Shaft, is on the way to find out what has happened to the task force, what has happened to Sentinel on their mission, and the introduction of Prophet. When we last saw them, we know that the task force were taken out, and Prophet is all that stands between this invasion from Darkthorn's disciples. Anyway, so we get a little bit of Vogue and Photon and Bedrock action. My bad, Bedrock. He's still Bedrock here. But I really like the issue's artwork. It's got that sense of dynamism that we've come to know and love about this era of Rob Liefeld's artwork, but it does kind of feel cleaner because of Danny Miki's inking. And I believe that Danny Miki is the inker going forward for a while. We'll see when we break it down. I've never read these books, but I know that Rob continues to ink his faces, but I think the inking is great. So we get reintroduced to this Youngblood team. They're on their mission to find the task force, to find out what is up. There's a brief little reference here to Stormwatch. Stormwatch was a book that was going to be published that year. Lots of stuff published, but nothing consistently actually told. So they get to where they're going to go, and then they all have to jump out, and now it's time to attack. This is very much a Die Hard-centric issue. Die Hard is a member of Youngblood that I think visually is one of the most compelling characters that Rob Liefeld created for this Youngblood run, and we have gotten very little of him. All of the captions are his dialogue, his narration, and some really cool stuff focused in on him. He straight up smashes into the building, locates the disciples, and is trying to figure out what's going on, immediately starts kind of kicking the ass of these androids. Bedrock is right there behind him, and he starts referencing that Bedrock, it's hard to believe that he's actually a kid. He should be taking this seriously, but he's not because he's a kid. He's like a 14, 13, 15-year-old kid. These are little character things that we were hinted at maybe in the script, but mostly told in Wizard magazines and interviews and shit, right? But we're actually finally on issue 4 getting some of this developed. There's a big cast of characters. You got 2 different teams. You're switching the focus each issue. It's hard to kind of keep this stuff, especially with how late it was running. It's hard to keep it interesting with so much going on so infrequently. But they find Prophet. Prophet's like, yo, I can tell by the way that you dressed that you're part of my fallen comrades. And so Die Hard's like, yo, where are they at? And then all of a sudden more disciples are showing up. So there is this portal that the disciples keep coming through. They have overwhelmed the Youngblood away team, and Prophet is the last man standing, but now he's got Bedrock and Die Hard there. Die Hard pulls that disc thing that's on his back, and what is it? It's a damn shield. look at this. Big, boisterous, macho Rob Liefeld with that Danny Mickey touch. Oh my goodness, it's so clean. It's so dynamic. I could just eat it up. This was also the first issue of Youngblood on that glossy paper, and it really starts making these colors start popping a little bit more. Usually glossy paper on coloring makes it not as good at this time in this era, but they're starting to really figure it out here. This issue is colored by Steve Oliff and Ollie Optics, so that probably has a lot to do it. Some nice kinetic energy, some nice action here with this shield that can store up energy. When he throws it, it releases it at contact. It comes right back to him because it's guided. Then we get some bedrock action. We get a yabba dabba doom. We get all of that shit, man. He's just throwing down. He's got that dumb bandana on. Why? Because he's like a 13, 14, 15-year-old. All of a sudden, Shaft and the rest of the team show up because they were way behind. Die Hard and Bedrock just leap in. Shaft shows up. He's like, yo, what's going on? They fill him in on everything. Prophet's there. And Prophet, to me, has been the most interesting, compelling, and just dynamic character in all of Youngblood. I cannot wait to dive into that Prophet series. I'm still just needing issue 8 and 10 of volume 1, and we will definitely be going through that. Prophet brings everybody up to date. We get some really nice close-ups in on Chapel, on Shaft, on Prophet. I really like the inking on this page. I think it's super strong. And then Die Hard's like, yo, let's just go after the villain. Shaft's like, yo, let's wait. We got everybody out. We're spreading out. Shaft's trying to take control. He's trying to make a plan. Then we got Vogue shows up. She has found the away team. Sentinel is awake again. It looks like maybe he's lost an eye. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Once again, the artwork is really tightened up. It's really strong in this issue on these pages. Sentinel's letting him know a little bit more about what Prophet is, how they're all tied in together. Pretty freaking dope. And then we get into Bedrock and Die Hard. They have ran to this portal. So they find out there's this portal open, and that's where all the bad guys are coming through. Die Hard and Bedrock go through the portal, and they meet Wolverine. No, that's not Wolverine. It's not Shadowhawk. Who is it? It is Darkthorn. Darkthorn's the big villain. He's the one that went after the Berserkers. Don't forget the Berserkers are still there too. They're also knocked out along with the Youngblood Task Force. Prophet is being set up as being so ridiculously badass here. Anyway, Darkthorn shows up and he's like, yo, if you can't make it through my disciples, if you can't handle them, what makes you think you can handle me? He takes out Die Hard so freaking quick. He throws out his spawn eyes. And then on the other side of the portal, we got Youngblood, where the Berserkers are waking up. The task force, they're starting to wake up. They're like, what's going on over there? And then all of a sudden, as they're waiting, who comes out of there? It's Wolverine. No, that's not Wolverine. It's Shadowhawk. No, that's not Shadowhawk. It's Darkthorn. And Bedrock has somehow been manipulated mentally to come over to the dark side, to his side. So now Youngblood's going to have to fight not just Darkthorn, but Bedrock as well. Talk about Yabba Dabba Doom. To be concluded in Brigade number 4? What? We'll get to that in a second. But this book also has a Pitt preview by Del Keown. Pitt was a book that I absolutely loved when I was a kid. I read at least the first 6 issues. This is definitely something I'm collecting back up, and I want to kind of revisit. And we're basically seeing this idea of Pitt's escape and him landing on Earth. That's what this whole thing is set up for. I love Del Keown's artwork. It feels a bit cluttered. Feels like there's too much going on per page. It's got a little bit of clunky storytelling going on. But then we eventually get to the money shot, and it starts working for me right there, where Pitt shows up a la Terminator through some kind of like portal or some kind of appearance onto Earth, and then you get that stuff. And this really made me want to revisit Pitt very, very soon. So I got to go into my collection and dig out what Pitt issues I have so I can find the rest. But a really cool, substantial introduction to Pitt here, setting up the debut of Pitt number 1 to come from Image Comics. So Youngblood number 4. Youngblood number 4, here's my copy. Like I said, it's got glossy paper, but the color actually pops for me. So we got Rob Liefeld, we got Danny Mickey on the inking, Steve Oliff and Ollie Optics on the coloring, Kurt Hathaway. It starts solidifying. The artwork gets tighter. The story gets more developed. The characters get more developed. Die Hard is actually mentioned more than just like a panel here and there. It's pretty badass. High energy, interesting storytelling, really dynamic stuff. Prophet is absolutely badass. So in the letters column here, they mention that this is the end of the Youngblood miniseries. So most of these first Image books, they were meant to be like miniseries to see if they would work. Savage Dragon was 3 issues, Shadowhawk was 4, Wildcats was 4, and Youngblood, I guess, was meant to be 4. So this is the 4th issue, the end of the miniseries, but as you notice, it's not the end of the story. This is weird. So they were so far behind that apparently what they did was they finished the last bit of the story, which is only 10 pages, and it was a flip book with Brigade number 4. So Brigade number 4, you flip it around, and it's Youngblood number 5, and it's only 10 pages, and it wraps up this whole thing. That is a really poor release schedule. I think it was done out of necessity. I don't think it was intentionally done that way. And then they mentioned how at the end of the year, the Youngblood ongoing series will debut. And that doesn't quite happen, though they do release Strike File, and I'm excited to dive into that because of the Jay Lee artwork there. But they do eventually continue the series with issue number 6, and it goes till 10 issues. We will cover all of those. We will definitely cover up, and there's 2 pages of letters here. You got to fill out this page count, right? 2 pages of letters. Whoop. 2 pages of letters right here. There's page 1, page 2. I'm going to read you the special announcement right here. It says, the Youngblood miniseries may be over, but you haven't seen the last of them by a long shot. The 10-page conclusion to this issue's story, and you thought we just left you hanging, is just around the corner, and Brigade number 4 on sale next month. And following that, we kicked into high gear with Youngblood Strike File. The first issue features the first ever pairing of Rob Liefeld and the legendary George Perez, and the inimitable Mr. Perez steps into Ink Rob on the previously mentioned Die Hard Super Patriot Free-For-All. Does he? I got to open that up and see. And as if that were not enough, Rob and the hot newcomer Jay Lee team up for the first chapter of a 3-part Chapel story that ties into the Who Killed Spawn storyline coming up in Spawns 12 and 13. From there, we've got a new Blood Strike and Brigade series, as well as our first Youngblood yearbook on tap. Finally, after that, get ready for the countdown to the Youngblood regular series, which did come back as issue number 6, but issue number 5 will be the flip book with Brigade. So even though they do have the Pitt bit at the back here, it's not a flip book like the other ones have been, but on the back we got this ad for Youngblood Bloodshot, where it looks like Bloodshot's kind of like taking the place of Chapel on an alternate Youngblood team. So I definitely got to look that up. So anyway, I really like this issue. I thought it was great. It's unfortunate that this book starts getting plagued with lateness and all kinds of scheduling issues, and Extreme just kind of, they don't really quite ever recover. You know what I'm saying? Look at that Extreme Comics ad, by the way. You get to meet Chapel in person. That dude who's playing Chapel is one of their artists or one of their writers. I don't know. But there's the team right there. Extreme Studios. The tour is coming. 93. Anyway, Youngblood, number 4. Solid issue. Really liked it. Really liked it. It's a shame that they have to shunt the conclusion off to the flip book side of Brigade number 4. We'll talk about that next time. But I'm excited to see where this develops because I'm actually kind of getting into it. So all in all, Youngblood number 4, I'm honestly going to give this an enthusiastic 3.69. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's the best issue yet. It's bringing it all together. If this was released on time, I think it could have went somewhere. Youngblood went a little bit somewhere, but it didn't go all the way there. But it could have. 3.69 you digs. And this has been Image in the 90s.